Hey guys, this is the one and only Sonic Ranger back with another of the brand new just released 6-inch Legacy Collection Power Rangers action figures with the theme Build a Megazord. So, after taking a great look, and I mean a really great look at probably the best figure of the line, which was Tommy the Green Ranger, comes to accessories count and pretty much all the detail the figure had to offer. Everything about that figure just made me really love it. This figure, on the other hand, is quite the letdown, and I've got to be honest, me being a true die-hard Red Ranger fan from the very beginning, since I first laid eyes on Jason the Red Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back in 1993, I've got to say this figure really hurts me right here. But having said that, we'll get to the basics of the figure, the pros and the cons, the whole 9 yards when we get to the figure. But first and foremost, let's take a look at the packaging here, which is obviously one and the same with all the other Legacy figures of this review mini-series. So we got Saban's Power Rangers here, Build a Megazord, showing off Dino Megazord, a nice profile image of Jason the Red Ranger or Rocky DeSantos, you know, your choice, your preference. Saban's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Legacy Collection Red Ranger right there. Flip on the back, and we've got Collect the Rangers and Build the Proper Megazord. So, Power Rangers logo, Pink Ranger, Red Ranger, Black Ranger, Blue Ranger, Yellow Ranger, all pointing out the specifics of what parts they actually come with, which of course, we're going to be waiting a while for Black Ranger, Blue Ranger, Yellow Ranger, and Pink Ranger to follow in on this series, maybe wave 2 or 3, guess it all depends. That said, Series 1 consists of Mighty Morphin Red, Mighty Morphin Green, Ninja Storm Red, Ninja Storm Blue, and Ninja Storm Yellow, codenamed the Wind Rangers. So that's going to do it for the packaging. Now let's take a look at the Ranger himself. And I'm going to try here, people. I'm really going to try and make this a legit review without turning this into a rant video. But, I mean, if it gets to that point, you're just going to have to understand. Like I said when I first started this review, I am a die-hard Jason the Red Ranger fan. Having said that, the figure consists of the same amount of detail, articulation, and the sculpting looks pretty spot on to the actual Ranger of the show. So, I really don't have a problem with any of that, especially the paint job. I think the paint job is pretty legit, but having said that, in the terms of showing off a quick side comparisons, I will show you right here with a standard 5-inch pre-Legacy action figure, which is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, Red Ranger, which was obviously Rocky and not Jason, but still, I want to show you this comparisons real quickly for one particular reason. This figure was $15 to $17 max. This figure is $20. Now we're paying a little more for this because of the Build a Megazord feature. Having said that though, I think Bandai America skipped a little bit of the beat on the paint application to the figure. And I really should have pointed this out with the Green Rangers review, but when it really comes down to it, they really just couldn't fork up a little extra in their budget to actually paint in the teeth on the visor pieces. I mean, really? Now let me show you this real quickly for the $15 action figure. He's got it. I mean, you know, I wouldn't make such a big deal out of this had I actually paid the same amount for this figure right here with the same amount of paint applications, but having said that, it's not. This figure is a little cheaper than this figure, and yet he gets a little more attention to detail with the actual visor piece. I mean, what? Really? What? Having said that, these figures are pretty much one in the same. They are very common when it comes to their accessories, because what you're seeing right here in this video is all he comes with, unfortunately. Yes, true, he does come with the Build a Megazord piece, which is the Dino Megazord, the upper torso and the head, which is very nice. But this is as far as I'm going to go in this review about this piece, because we'll see it in a future video review. Unfortunately, it ain't going to happen anytime soon. I really can't say much more about this figure because my love for it isn't there. It just isn't. It is a good figure. A very good figure. Just slacking on accessories. And I know. Bandai America's already got that problem resolved. They said they're going to have weapon packs in the future. Now, whether or not they're actually going to be a part of the 6 Rangers of this line, if that's what they were talking about originally, is still up to debate. But when it really comes down to it, we still got a while to wait until we'll actually see the White Ranger come out of this series, who will probably have those weapons or may not. And for all we know, we may not see a weapons pack if they are sold individually in this series for God knows how long. I just don't. And I know a lot of people are really bummed out about this, and I really am too. Do not get me wrong about this. I am right there with you guys, and I really got to take points off on this figure for the fact that all he really comes with for a weapon is this crummy little thing right here, which is for some reason now stuck in the holster. Yeah, and as soon as I say that, it comes right out. But yeah, here it is, his Blade Blaster. This is all he gets right here. At least with this figure right here, he actually came with an alternate head to represent the scanning mode that he had in the movie. So at least he came with one more extra accessory. He even came with a Blade Blaster in its holster mode and the holster for the Blade Blaster. Something this figure did come with, but he doesn't have anything else beyond that. So yeah, I mean, that $20 price point right now at this point is kind of questionable. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. It is a pretty good sculpt, but just it's lacking a little bit of detail, like the fact that the dinosaur eye is not there. I mean, you can see it's just the teeth and it's the head, and there's no eyes on either side. So yeah, it's kind of lacking thereof, especially with the paint apps. The claw pieces here are not painted silver, they're just plain white. They were sprayed over. The only bit of silver is this tip here, just to let you know that that is the tip of the gun. And the only thing that you can really do with it is just put it in the holster, or as they promoted on the packaging of the figure itself, put it in his hands and pretend it's actually a weapon. This is not a weapon. This is not the Blade Blaster in the sword mode. This is just its storage mode. And that's all it's going to be on my figure. Now, having said that, if you actually have a 5-inch Super Mega Force Red Ranger, or even the pre-Legacy action figure, which I do have, but I'm not going to pull him out because I just forgot him, you can actually use his Blade Blaster because it is actually in scale with this one here, and it's in its proper gun mode, and it does fit in his hands pretty good. I mean, it's like a legit Blade Blaster for this Legacy figure that he just lacks thereof. Anyway, let's get to his articulation now, because the articulation is on par with all the other Legacy figures which I've reviewed, but I'm showing it off anyway. As you can see, it's all there. Ball jointed shoulders, in and out, bicep rotation, double jointed elbows, ball jointed wrists, ab crunch, back and forth, waist rotation, ball jointed legs, thigh rotation, though it's still hindered like all the others. It's very tight, and I'm kind of worried about that. Double jointed knees, there's a boot cut, and then there's ball jointed feet with the ratcheting, which kind of works and kind of doesn't sometimes. And there's also the ankle pivot that, you know, it's just phenomenal. Or should I say, more phenomenal. Haha! Anyway, here's one last look at the Red Ranger helmet, just so you can see a very nice representation from the show, which is very spot on. Even the visor piece at the bottom goes straight down into like a triangle shape, which is nice. Not many Red Ranger figures have this. Very cool. Having said that, I think there's just one little thing I gotta say about this, and I think the top is a little lacking. Now, I'm not talking about in details, I'm just talking about this straight up piece right here. I think should be just a little higher, especially going by some actual photo shots and what is revealed here on the packaging. You can see that center piece is actually a little higher. I guess it's okay for what it is. I mean, I'm not really going to complain about it, and I'm not really going to put any points off on that, but, you know, it just, I mean, if they're going all out on this Legacy line, if they're going for accuracy, just go as far as you can. There's not much else to really talk about with this figure, so I guess the only thing that I can do is pose it for its proper thumbnail or something thereof. And I guess that'll work. That's pretty good. And let me just go ahead and bring in all the size comparisons that I have in mind with this video review. So I got a lot of stuff over here, so just bear with me 1 second and I'll bring them in. So here's a 6-inch Halo action figure from Mattel, and here's another one. So yeah, I'm having a little fun with this interchangeable armor, if you haven't noticed, because now I've got myself Master Linda here and a Chief 58. Yeah, and here's the best I can do with displaying the rest of the figures in their actual thumbnails that I created for their reviews. So there you have all of Series 1 of this brand new, just released 6-inch Legacy Collection, and I gotta say, these figures are good. As a matter of fact, they're great. They're just not lovable for me, except for Tommy. Yeah, he's a cool figure. Overall, the best of the series. But having said that, there are other means to fixing some problems with the Red Ranger figure, even though he is lacking in accessories. If you were fortunate enough to actually drop over by San Diego Comic-Con, you were able to pick up something that not many people can actually afford, and that is wha-bam! That's right. I think I mentioned this earlier in one of these reviews that I do have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Legacy Collection Red Ranger. And we will be taking a look at this action figure as the final figure of this Legacy series thus far. So, stick with me, guys. I'll be back very shortly. If you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Leave it down below in the comment section of this video. If you like this video review, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, well, I'm out of stuff to say about that, so I'll just skip it anyway. And if you haven't already, why not hit that subscribe button for more video reviews just like the one you're reviewing today from the reviewing station. This is the one and only Sonic Ranger signing off. Thanks for watching, and I will see you whenever you see me.